And we begin tonight with that breaking news. This is new video just into our newsroom showing the devastation now in the Plumas County community of Canyon Dam. These homes sit right at the southern end of Lake Almanor along Highway 89. It all comes as we're still seeing explosive growth in the Dixie Fire. Tonight we have learned more than 100 homes were damaged or destroyed further south in the community of Greenville. At least 4 people are unaccounted for, all as this fire continues to move north. Good evening, I'm Madison Wade. Chris Thomas is on assignment. We will have much more on the Dixie Fire in just a minute, but first, closer to home, the River Fire still keeping thousands of people in Placer and Nevada counties out of their homes tonight. The River Fire ignited yesterday, burning 2,600 acres and destroying homes too. It is 15% contained. At least 1 firefighter is injured and 2 other people are hurt. You can take a look now at this map that's showing just how quickly this fire grew and where it is growing. It's north near the city of Colfax. This evening, Governor Newsom declared a state of emergency in Placer and Nevada counties to help with resources. And ABC 10's Van 2 is joining us live, hearing from evacuees and firefighters tonight. Van.
Well, Madison, we are here at the Bear River evacuation shelter, and most people are staying here in the parking lot in RVs and campers. This will be home indefinitely, although crews have made progress on the river fire today. Cal Fire officials say there isn't yet a timeline on when evacuees can return. Best friends for nearly 70 years, Patricia Murrow and Louis Chenye evacuated on their own together. First staying at a hotel in Citrus Heights and finding more helping hands at the Red Cross shelter at Bear Valley High School.
They have been absolutely amazing.
The women in their 80s say in their lifetimes, wildfires have forced them to evacuate 5 times. So far, they've been lucky to return home and hope for the best.
The caliber of people that we have, working the fires and the Red Cross and all that, I just have to trust that everything's going to be okay.
Others already know the answer.
Well, I'm thinking that we better get out of there.
With the behemoth of a fire at his doorstep, this video shows the final moments Frank Robinson would ever spend at his home on Wildwood Lane.
Well, it's completely gone. And all our neighbors, great neighbors, they're leveled.
Robinson's house among 76 homes destroyed and 20 damaged by the river fire, according to Cal Fire. While some 900 crew members took advantage of cooler temperatures Thursday and made progress on building containment lines, their fight isn't over.
Getting those crews out there, getting around the perimeter, making sure those hot spots are mopped up.
And in areas most devastated, crews working on clearing downed power lines and other dangerous conditions.
When the public isn't there, we can actually get our jobs done faster.
Now, Madison, we were in the fire zone today, and while many homes were destroyed, a majority of them were protected. Now, that is still very uncomfortable. That unknown is uncomfortable for a lot of people, and still 3,400 structures are still threatened, according to Cal Fire, and they do expect that active fire behavior tomorrow with rising temperatures and gusty winds. And meanwhile, I'll add here at the Red Cross, they have been in a disaster mode since July 4th, and the last 24 hours for them, they say, have been the busiest for volunteers. Last night, 200 evacuees slept here at the high school.
Oh, Van, we are so glad Patricia and Lois are being well taken care of. Van, thanks. Live on the River Fire tonight. Well, you can find a full list of evacuations on the River Fire and other fire information at abc10.com. You can also scan the QR code you see on your screen. And tonight, as the Dixie Fire moves north, it is painting the skies orange dozens of miles away in Susanville in Lassen County. Susanville is not being told to evacuate at this time, but some people we've heard from have decided to leave. ABC 10 has been in the Plumas County community of Greenville all day today, where we have learned more than 100 homes are gone. At least 4 people unaccounted for. ABC 10's Joaquin Maluca has been hearing from people waiting to hear what happened to their home.
I'm standing in the center of the town of Greenville, which has basically been decimated by the Dixie Fire that blew through. Look at the destruction that we're seeing. This is pretty much all over the entire town, completely brought to rubble. Survivors are continuing to wait and see as they stand at evacuation zones and other safe areas outside of the main fire, hoping and waiting for answers as to when it's going to be safe for them to be allowed back in.
It just got, like this saying goes, all hell broke loose.
Greenville's David Rudd has watched for weeks as flames from the Dixie Fire exploded, decimating the community he calls home.
With all these winds that gusted the last few days, it just threw the fire from one ridge to another.
Like so many in rural Plumas County, he's been bouncing from shelter to shelter as the Dixie Fire exploded to become the state's largest active wildfire, now topping 320,000 acres.
It's the mountains, and it's relaxing, comforting.
The Dixie Fires robbed the solace the town of Greenville once gave to 68-year-old Janet Thrall, who's been living out of a trailer for days, not knowing if her neighbors made it to safety or if she has a home still standing.
I'm healthy, whatever, and start over. So it'll be hard, but I'll manage.
As wildfire survivors watch and wait for answers, many remain positive and are giving thanks to the nearly 5,000 firefighters and other first responders brave enough to take on Mother Nature at her worst.
And new tonight, ABC 10's Kurt Rivera listened to a CAL FIRE news conference on where the Dixie Fire is heading next.
The fire has now burned over 361,000 acres and is still 35% contained. No injuries reported, although the Plumas County Sheriff says 4 people are still unaccounted for, and most of the historic town of Greenville was destroyed. Main Street, Greenville, once a thriving mountain community, now burned to the ground. Well over 100 homes are here, and fire officials say well over 100 homes are now gone.
So for those of you that don't know, I'm a lifelong resident of Greenville, and I want to start by saying my heart is crushed by what has occurred there.
And along with the destruction, it could have been worse.
Our firefighters and our law enforcement components that were in there initially risked their own lives to save those civilians that did not evacuate.
Wind gusts of up to 40 miles per hour, along with dry conditions, combined to race north, burning over 80,000 acres over the past couple of days.
We have a lot of veteran firefighters who have served for 20, 30 years and have never seen behavior like this.
But the fire incident meteorologist says good news is on the horizon for this weekend.
All the smoke that not only the Dixie Fire has produced, but some of the fires that are to our across Northern California, the Antelope and other fires, that is going to come down and over the fire environment tomorrow. That's going to kind of temper at least the weather conditions.
The fire is still growing north, just sparing the town of Chester yesterday, thanks to the help of firefighters. There have been arrests, though, in Lassen County for people who stayed behind but not staying in their homes.
And remember, PG&E is still being investigated for possibly causing the Dixie Fire all the way back on July 13th. That's in addition to another fire that has merged with the Dixie Fire last month. Coming up at 11:16, our investigative Firepower Money team is showing us how many fires PG&E has fallen under new criminal investigations for since the deadly Camp Fire. For now, let's get things over to meteorologist Tracy Humphrey with the latest on our fire weather concerns.
Well, good news. The red flag warning that we had earlier today has been allowed to expire. That does not mean that, of course, we're not out of the woods completely, but the opportunity for gusty winds, that is going to lessen and diminish as we move into tonight, the overnight, as well as throughout the day tomorrow. Here's a look at what it feels like outside, and it feels pretty nice in Sacramento at 65 degrees. Lower 70s coming in through Auburn and Placerville, 73 in Jackson. Pretty chilly in Truckee with 48 degrees and looking at 52 in South Lake Tahoe. So temperatures are definitely a little cool for this time of the year. And take a look at the current winds, and you can see that they have died down. Southerly winds coming in around 6 miles per hour in Sacramento, west to northwest coming in around 6 down in Stockton, and a southwest breeze coming in around 18 in Fairfield. Now the winds are going to have everything to do with tomorrow's weather, especially here in Sacramento, because they are expected to shift and become a little bit more variable in nature. Northerly winds are going to be driving in a lot of that Dixie Fire smoke right into the Sacramento Valley. In addition to that, is going to be hot. 100 degrees in a valley. Locations expected. Upper 90s coming in for the hills. The lower 80s for the Sierra and the lower 70s coming in for the Bay Area. So you add in the opportunity for smoke. We kick up the temperatures. You're going to get more ozone production. And tomorrow's going to be not the best of days. A little miserable with the heat. And then you add in unhealthy air quality for sensitive groups for Sacramento, Yolo, Solano, Placer, as well as El Dorado counties. That is going to be throughout the day on Friday. Coming up, we'll take a look at the weekend forecast. Is it possible triple digits could be sticking around? And how about more importantly, is the smoke sticking around? We'll take a look at some of your long-range forecast models coming up.
This simulation right here shows just how fast and far the Dixie Fire has grown. It's created by the Crowd Emergency Disaster Response Digital Core. And again, it shows the progression of the Dixie Fire starting right here on July 13th and traveling and getting larger and larger as the days continue. And as we remember, on August 4th, the fire traveled 14 miles in one day. And that is exactly what is concerning fire officials as we head into more of fire season.
Across the state, it's critically dry. You cannot expect that fires are going to stay in one place if left unchecked. They can burn 15 miles in one day. We're seeing it right now on the Dixie Fire.
That was former CAL FIRE Chief Ken Pimlott. He told me we are not even in the worst of fire season. He's talking specifically about the windy season. And he said once the winds hit, those fires can travel even more than 15 miles in one day.